na-emela amadi ihe ị na-agba nkwụ ị na-eme nkepụta nwa ị na-akwa ozu ị na-agba akwụkwọ bịawa na Aneke telivishọn bịa ka ezuoru gị ozi ọma bịawa na Aneke telivishọn idume na nke a bụ nke anyị ị mara ebe ọ ga-alụ etiwe mọnwụ ntakịrị tụkwamọwụsi nne ya mere ha ji wee weta Aneke telivishọn ọ bụ onye mgbagburu ahụ nna ọ dị na soshal midia ọ dị na mgbagbu ọ dị n'Enugu steeti ọ dị na
In the sports today, I am your one and only sports oracle, and I was telling you that we had this thing yesterday about the match that took place. Algeria winning their game, they are having a late winner, and that guy scoring the late screamer. That goal could be the best goal of the tournament. We are not yet sure, but we are going to see it as the best goal of the tournament. Then Cote d'Ivoire scored the 3 goals yesterday to seal them in that in their quest for quarterfinals in the AFCON. Amad Diallo scored, opened the scoring sheet, while the Maye scored at the 32nd minute. And these Torre I was telling you guys about scored at the 87th minute to seal them, to seal the victory yesterday. And it is something that I can tell you for a fact that AFCON is not just a tournament now, and it's something you cannot even predict. But even though we can say that we are working around making sure that Nigeria does not find a team which is bigger than them, but we are seeing these big and top teams making it to the round of AFCON. And I want to show you how it is happening in the people that have qualified for the quarterfinals. I want to show you the people that have qualified for the quarterfinals. Nigeria, Cameroon has qualified, Nigeria has qualified, Algeria has qualified, and Morocco, the host, has also qualified. These guys have qualified, and we just have 8 people we are looking forward to playing or having in the quarterfinal. And among these 8 people, there's one Nigeria will not play one of them, and I don't know. Of course, I will tell you by tomorrow who Nigeria will play, because the draws will be taken tonight, and I will go back to my drawing table to do some oracle stuffs to show you what's going to happen in the coming days. And Nigeria qualified, Algeria qualified, like I said, Cameroon qualified, Egypt has qualified, Mali also qualified, and Cote d'Ivoire qualified, Senegal also qualified. So among these 8 teams, we are going to have each of them facing each other, and Nigeria could play Algeria, while Cote d'Ivoire could play Egypt, while Morocco will play Mali, while Cameroon will play Senegal. And this is how it is, because you don't know how football can turn around in the coming days, and it's going to be something we all are looking forward to. I don't know your predictions about Nigeria. I don't know who you think they are going to play next, but I was wondering who is the better opponent. As a sports oracle, I was wondering who is the better opponent to face. Who do you think is weaker? It's not Egypt, it's not Mali, it's not Cameroon. For me, I don't even know who I would say Nigeria should face, because all of these teams are solid. You won't say you want to face Cote d'Ivoire too, because we faced Cote d'Ivoire in 2023 when we played at the finals that they won us 2-1, and we won't say it's Algeria because these guys are massive. We won't say it's Morocco. Please don't bring these Moroccan guys. All of them are cheats. Don't even talk about Egypt because we are not ready to run around the pitch. And don't go to Cameroon because shots, they will use shot and destroy our lives. Since we are not even playing a wing game, we are more on a midfield kind of game. So I don't know who we are going to face, but I'm sure that we are going to see Nigeria coming out and making their mark. Of course, anyone they put for us, I, the Oracle, will tell you the predictions, and I will tell you how tough the match will be. Remember, this is the Sports Wrap here on Aneke TV, and I'm your one and only sports guy who brings you the best of the updates on sports. And this is my shrine. You are welcome always and always. I will take you same time, same station tomorrow, and over there in Sunrise we're going to see you again. Bye.
Imo State unfolds like a living poem, a tapestry of memory, aspiration, and transformation. Here, history is not settled in the past, but continues to move forward, carried in the footsteps of Imolites, whose resolve and optimism animate every corner of the land. The people and their spirit Imolites are renewed for their courage, enterprise, and intellect. From the bustling avenues of Owerri to the rolling hills of Idato, both the young and the old carry a quiet, steadfast conviction. Education is not just a means to an end, but a calling. Their ambition lives in the classrooms, in labs, in markets, and in the global Imo diaspora. Imo's cultural heartbeat is rhythmic and rich. High life melodies mingle with gospel harmonies and modern beats, each song echoing ancestral memory and youthful vigor. Traditional dances carry stories of community, origin, and resilience, even as innovation blossoms, rooted in respect for heritage. Infrastructure and roads. Under Governor Hope Uzodimma, Imo has undergone what many describe as a road
and welcome to Aneke TV News. I am Deborah Wakoba, and thank you for joining us today here on Aneke TV. Now moving over to the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appoints first female Director General. Of the Nigerian Law School, federal government unveils plan to train 1 million Nigerians in critical skills. And on the foreign scene, Somalia condemns Israeli foreign minister's visit to Somaliland. Uganda imposes ban on live broadcast ahead of crucial presidential election. Dangote refinery dismisses reports of operational shutdown as false. And in entertainment, singer Tiwa Savage addresses social media influencer over comments involving her son. And now to the news in details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Dr. Olugbemisola Titilayo Odushote as the first female Director General of the Nigerian Law School. The appointment was confirmed Tuesday by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. Dr. Odushote, who is currently the Deputy Director General and head of the Lagos campus, will assume office on January 10, 2026 for a 4-year tenure. She succeeds Professor Isha Hayatu Chiroma, whose tenure ends on January 9th. The Nigerian Law School, established in 1962, has been led exclusively by men until now. Dr. Odushote joined the institution in 2001 and is an alumnus of Obafemi Awolowo University with a doctorate degree from the University of Surrey, United Kingdom. The federal government has inaugurated a joint implementation committee to train and certify 1 million Nigerians in digital skills and emerging technologies. The committee was inaugurated yesterday in Abuja by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume. The initiative, which targets youth, women and underserved communities, is fully sponsored by the Cleggy Wealth Cooperative Society Limited at no cost to the federal government. It will be implemented using the future-proof economy model across the 774 local government areas. Participants will undergo 6-month training batches and receive international certifications, with some beneficiaries also receiving laptops. The program is part of government efforts to achieve 70% digital literacy by 2027 and 95% by 2030. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has sealed the Divine Hope Orphanage and Less Privileged Home in Kagini over allegations of illegal child trafficking. The Director of Child Development, Mr. Idris Atta, confirmed the closure in Abuja. Investigations revealed that 4 siblings allegedly brought from Nasarawa State were illegally housed at the facility. The children have since been reunited with their parents, while the orphanage proprietress reportedly fled with other children before authorities arrived. Security agencies are now searching for the fleeing suspects and missing children. The FCTA says it is intensifying efforts to clamp down on illegal orphanages and unregulated child adoption centers within the capital. Edo State Governor Monday Okmebolo has described the rising cases of kidnapping in the state as an existential threat. He spoke during a condolence visit to the family of Dr. Abu Momo Tahir, who was killed by abductors in Auchi. The governor said the incident was a painful setback, but insisted that government investment in security had prevented the situation from worsening. He noted that the relative peace recorded during the festive season showed progress. Governor Okmebolo urged residents to remain vigilant and report suspicious activity to security agencies. He assured that the state government will intensify efforts to dismantle kidnapping networks across Edo State. Residents of Ganaru community in Mashegu local government area of Niger State have raised alarm over the discovery of unexploded bombs near the village. The devices were found along the roadside in Zuguma district on Monday. The Niger State Police Command confirmed the deployment of a bomb disposal unit to the area, while villagers reported discovering 3 devices. The police say only 1 explosive has been officially confirmed so far. Authorities have condoned off the area as experts work to safely detonate the explosive. Security agencies have also commenced a wider sweep to ensure the safety of nearby farming communities. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has dismissed speculations about the decline of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), describing the party as alive, strong and resilient. He said the PDP remains a key pillar of Nigeria's democratic development. Dr. Jonathan made the remarks while receiving members of the PDP National Working Committee, led by National Chairman Mr. Kabiru Tanimu Turaki, at his private office in Abuja. He noted that the party is the only surviving original political party since 1998. The former president described the PDP as more than a political platform, calling it a national institution with deep historical roots. He said the meeting focused on reconciliation efforts within the party and strategic preparation ahead of the 2027 general elections. Former Anambra State Governor Mr. Peter Obi, alongside other Igbo leaders, has paid a New Year visit to elder statesman and former governor of Old Anambra State, Senator Jim Nwobodo. Those on the visit include Senators Ben Obi, Sam Egu, Jill Nnaji, and former PDP National Chairman Dr. Okwesilieze Nwodo. The visit took place at Senator Nwobodo's residence in Amechi, Enugu South local government area. Receiving the delegation, Senator Nwobodo described Peter Obi as a respectable and widely accepted leader. He urged him to remain steadfast in his political pursuits for the interests of Ndibo. Former Imo State governors Chief Aneke Udenwa and Chief Emeka Ihedioha, along with other party members, have raised a total of 219.7 million naira for the African Democratic Congress ADC. The funds were raised during the party stakeholders meeting held in Owerri. Addressing the gathering, Chief Udenwa described the ADC as the leading opposition party in Imo State, noting that the funds would be deployed to strengthen the party's activities across the state. He commended party members for their loyalty and commitment, which he said had earned Imo State a prominent position within the party at both zonal and national levels. Chief Udenwa also expressed confidence that the ADC would dislodge the ruling All Progressive Congress at the state and national levels. The Enugu State Police Command has dismantled an interstate vehicle theft syndicate, recovering 2 stolen Mack trucks and a Toyota Highlander Jeep. The trucks were intercepted while being transported from Aba, Abia State. Police arrested 2 suspects in connection with the trucks, while another suspect linked to the stolen Highlander was tracked and arrested in Enugu. The recovered SUV was earlier reported stolen in Lagos State. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police in the state, Mr. Maman Giwa, said the operation was part of a renewed offensive against organized crime. He warned criminal elements that Enugu State would not serve as a haven for stolen vehicles. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. Kayode Botokun, has approved the redeployment of a Deputy Inspector General and 17 Commissioners of Police across the country. The redeployment takes immediate effect. DIG Mohammed Usaini Gumel has been appointed to head the Force Intelligence Department. Several commissioners have also been posted to strategic state and specialized units, including anti-human trafficking, marine and railway commands. The IGP has charged officers to uphold professionalism and deliver tangible results. The police leadership says the redeployment is aimed at strengthening intelligence-led policing nationwide. The Lagos State Task Force has arrested 32 street urchins, popularly known as Omotaku, for allegedly causing public nuisance and obstructing traffic. The suspects were apprehended during a coordinated operation across major areas of Lagos Island and mainland, including Yaba, Ojueleba, Surulere, and Lagos Island. The task force says the exercise is part of its ongoing cleanup operations aimed at restoring order on major highways across the state. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) has announced an indefinite nationwide strike beginning Monday, January 12, 2026. The action will affect 91 tertiary health institutions across the country. NARD says the strike is due to the federal government's failure to honor agreements on salary arrears, allowances, and the reinstatement of affected doctors. NARD President Dr. Mohammed Usman Suleiman called on President Bola Tinubu to intervene. He warned that the strike would remain total until the government addresses all outstanding demands. The Joint Health Sector Unions Johelsu has faulted the federal government's recent circular on the review of retirement age in the health sector, describing it as selective and discriminatory. The union warned that the policy favors one cadre of health workers to the detriment of others, with negative implications for equity and teamwork in healthcare delivery. In an open letter to the office of the head of the civil service of the Federation, Johelsu expressed deep concern over what he said was a deviation from the original intent of the policy, which was meant to benefit all health professionals. The union stressed that unequal application of the retirement age undermines harmony and efficiency within the health system. Johes recalled that it has agitated for an increase in the retirement age of health workers for over 15 years, noting that the demand featured prominently in 8 memoranda of understanding signed with the federal government between 2014 and 2024. It added that the matter was extensively discussed after the June 2023 strike, with reference to existing provisions allowing university staff to retire at 65 years and professors at 70. Now, news around the globe comes to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can stay connected with us across all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now, here's a quick recap of the major stories making the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appoints first female Director General of the Nigeria Law School. Federal government rolls out program to train 1 million Nigerians nationwide. And on the foreign scene, Somalia condemns Israeli minister's visit to Somaliland. And on business, Dangote Refinery describes shutdown reports as false and misleading. We'll be right back.
The eagle stands as a majestic symbol of strength, clarity, and vision. Its ability to soar above storms signifies resilience, while its shaped sight represents focus. This is why many nations, including Nigeria, use the eagle as an emblem of nation pride. Eagles do not fear challenges, they embrace them. They fly higher when the winds become strong, rising above obstacles rather than avoiding them. This teaches us that problems are not barriers, but stepping stones for those who dare. To live like an eagle is to stay focused, courageous, and disciplined. It is to see opportunities where others see only difficulties. The sky is not your limit, it is your launch pad.
Somalia has strongly condemned Israel over visit by its foreign minister Gideon Saar to Hargeisa, the capital of self-declared Republic of Somaliland. Mogadishu described the visit as a violation of Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In a statement, Somalia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs declared any official engagement with Somaliland without its consent as illegal and void, calling on the United Nations and African Union to uphold Somalia's international recognized borders. The condemnation follows Israel's recent recognition of Somaliland as an independent state, a move Somalia has said undermines its long-standing policy of national unity and threatens stability in the Horn of Africa. Uganda has imposed a ban on the live broadcast and streaming of riots and unlawful processions ahead of January 15 general election. The government says the measures aimed at preventing panic and escalation of violence. The directive comes as President Yoweri Museveni seeks another term in office against opposition candidate Bobi Wine. Critics say the broadcast restriction could limit transparency during the election period, while authorities insist the policy is necessary to maintain public order and national security. Protests have erupted across Iran following a sharp fall in the national currency and rising inflation. Rights groups report at least 25 deaths and more than 1,000 arrests since demonstration began in Tehran's central bazaar. The Iranian rial has hit a recorded low against the dollar, deepening public frustration over the rising cost of living. The government has announced new subsidies, but unrest has continued to spread to other cities. Security agencies have warned protesters against further demonstrations, accusing foreign interests of fueling the unrest, as authorities struggle to balance economic reforms with tightening security measures. Colombia has warned it is prepared to defend its sovereignty following comments by U.S. President Donald Trump suggesting possible military action. Colombia's foreign minister said any threat to the country would be met in line with international law. The warning follows heightened regional tensions over recent developments in Venezuela, where U.S. actions have reshaped the political landscape. Colombia described the rhetoric as destabilizing. Regional observers say the situation has raised concerns over diplomatic relations in South America, with calls for restraint and dialogue from the international community. The United Kingdom and France have signed a declaration of intent to deploy troops to Ukraine if a peace agreement is reached with Russia. The plan would see European forces provide security support of Ukrainian territory. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the move is aimed at deterring future aggression and rebuilding Ukraine's military capacity. The proposal has also received backing from the United States. However, Russia has warned that the presence of foreign troops in Ukraine could escalate tensions, leaving the final outcome dependent on ongoing negotiations. Now to business news. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has dismissed reports of a shutdown, describing them as false and misleading. The company says production at the 650,000 facility remains stable. The refinery disclosed it produced 50 million liters of petrol on January 4th, with sufficient stock to cover over 20 days of national consumption. Routine maintenance, it said, does not affect overall output. Dangote reaffirmed its ex-gantry price of 699 naira per litre, warning that without local refining, fuel prices could rise significantly under the deregulated market. Nigeria has completed all requirements to trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, confirmed that key legal instruments have been gazetted. She said Nigeria has fulfilled obligation on trade in goods, services and digital trade, enabling local businesses to access preferential markets across Africa. The minister described AFCFTA as a major step toward regional economic integration and value creation within the continent. And now in sports, Algeria has qualified for the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations after defeating DR Congo 1-0 in extra time. The victory sets up a quarter-final clash with Nigeria's Super Eagles as a repeat of the 2019 AFCON semi-finals. The match will be played on Saturday in Marrakech, with kickoff scheduled for 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Super Eagles striker Akko Adams has been granted compassionate leave to visit his hospitalized mother. Team officials say her condition has stabilized. Adams is expected to rejoin the squad ahead of Nigeria's quarterfinals match against Algeria. Still on sports, the Nigerian Football Federation has dismissed reports of a rift between Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. Officials say the issue was resolved internally after Monday's match. All players took part in training as the team prepares for the quarterfinal against Algeria. Osimhen is now 3 goals away from breaking Rashidi Yekina's national scoring record. The Super Eagles will relocate to Marrakech ahead of Saturday's clash. And now in entertainment, Afrobeat star Tiwa Savage has received a public apology from an online influencer following comments involving her minor son. The singer condemned the remarks as harassment. The influencer deleted the post and issued an apology after public backlash. The incident has renewed discussion on online bullying and the protection of children on social media. Nollywood actor Yomi Gold has survived a medical emergency in Muraj. The actor said he was rushed to hospital. The actor said he was rushed to hospital after suffering a sudden severe headache. He credited this survival to quick medical intervention and expressed gratitude to fans for their support. Gold is currently recovering and remains under medical observation. And finally, before we go on news around the globe, here's a recap of our top stories today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed the first female Director General of the Nigerian Law School. The federal government has launched a nationwide program to train 1 million Nigerians in key skills. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has sealed an orphanage over allegations of child trafficking. And on the foreign scene, Somalia has condemned the visit of Israel's foreign minister to Somaliland. And that's news around the globe on Aneke TV. For more news and live updates, follow us across all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I am Deborah Wakuba. Thank you for watching. As Nigeria enters 2026, the nation faces a pivotal year, balancing promise with responsibility. Economic analysts project steady growth and structural transformation, but the success of this year would depend on effective reforms, innovation, and citizen engagement. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, forecast a gross domestic product GDP growth of 4.5%, with inflation expected to ease into the low teens. Independent institutions, including the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, highlight a rebound in domestic demand and renewed investor confidence. Major drivers of growth include the near completion of the Ajokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline, expected to boost industrial activity, create jobs, and expand energy access in northern states. Ongoing tax and financial sector reforms also aim to strengthen public revenue and attract investment. Despite positive forecasts, Nigeria faces persistent hurdles. Rising inflation, especially on food and essential goods, continues to affect households. Security concerns in some regions disrupt communities and economic activity, while fiscal pressures require careful management to ensure sustainable growth. Growing sectors such as technology, creative industries, and service offer opportunities for job creation and innovation. Experts recommend improving agricultural supply chains, storage, and access to credit and technology for farmers. Transparent public spending aligned with long-term development priorities is essential. Supporting small and medium enterprises, SMEs, tech startups, and creative industries with funding and skills development can generate jobs, while expanding access to credit and fintech solutions will empower youth and women entrepreneurs. Strengthening community security is also crucial to protect farms, markets, and trade corridors. Experts stress that 2026 is a year for action, accountability, and inclusive growth. Governments must prioritize implementation and transparency in reforms. The private sector should invest in innovation and industrial growth, and citizens are encouraged to develop skills, embrace entrepreneurship, and actively contribute to community development. With practical reforms, investment in human capital, and collective effort, 2026 can be a year of resilience, hope, and national development. Nigeria's future will depend not only on policies, but on the commitment and actions of every Nigerian.
Hey everyone, we hit the street today to ask Nigerians a bold question.
Definitely, I'll leave because this country is not favoring anybody. The economy is hard, the youths are unemployed. It's very hard to stay in Nigeria. You understand? I would prefer to go to a better country where I can make a lot of money and probably come back to see my family. I'll probably take them with me. You understand? So generally, the country is hard. We have better countries than Nigeria, so I would prefer to stay there than to stay here if I have the opportunity. The only thing I have to say to them is they are all looking for greener pastures. But one thing is, no matter how far you go, home is still home. You still remember your roots. You understand? If you make that money, you still come back. That's what I have to tell them. Yeah, you don't forget your home, where you're from. Yes. No matter how far you go.
ASAP, like instant. Yeah, let's say you like the country. Wait, you like the country, but even if not Ghana, maybe they go. If I have a chance to leave Nigeria, I'll leave Nigeria. Where? My country, I don't say, I think in a society we do. I'll leave Nigeria, that's me. I'll leave Nigeria if I have a chance to. Leave this country for better. To me, the country is no longer safe for us, so I have to leave the country and find a better life. Even if, to me, Ghana safe now is now better than, but all the same, Nigeria is still one of the greatest countries. But to me to you, or me to the audience out there, Nigeria is no more a country you should stay. If you have money, just leave the country.
I will definitely leave. I won't stay. Since I graduated, I've been looking for work. I've not gotten it. So why would I stay here? I have the best certificate to stay in Nigeria, but I'm not using it for anything. So I'd rather go in a country that I will make use of it.
I'll leave because I've been in Nigeria all my life, right from cradle. And also, I would love to like breathe in new fresh air. Yes, so that, and also expose myself to learning things.
No, I wouldn't be leaving the country, because if you leave the country, who is going to restructure the country? It doesn't make sense you leaving the country. You need to like develop your own country first before you start going to any other country to go and develop for them. So we need to work on ourselves first. You get me?
Because I don't know, nothing is really happening in Nigeria. When it comes to education is really fucked up in Nigeria. It's not really making sense. And a whole lot you get, and it's not like other countries are better than Nigeria, but when you look at the benefit and some things that are happening in Nigeria, to me, I will leave. I don't know about any other person. You get the security aspect. Security in Nigeria is very poor. You get security aspect in Nigeria is very, very poor. Then educational aspect is really fucked up, and employment too. It's not, you will finish school, there's nothing like, you're not seeing any employment, you get, so it's not really making sense.
Why not? If I have the opportunity.
And some things that are happening in Nigeria, to me, I will leave. I don't know about any other person. You get the security aspect. Security in Nigeria is very poor. You get security aspect in Nigeria is very, very poor. Then educational aspect is really fucked up, and employment too. It's not, you will finish school, there's nothing like, you're not seeing any employment, you get, so it's not really making sense.
Why not? If I have the opportunity, I can leave and go to a better country. So where my life is secure, I'm sure that my life is secure and my family. Because here in this country now, no security, poverty, as in no light, no water. So it's like someone living in hellfire. This country is also because of God's grace here are living.
Ha! Leave this country. I won't leave my country for anybody. I will not leave my country, Nigeria, for anybody. You want to know why? No place like home. No place like them. There that are house there, they are not even comfortable. They are not, because you see that anytime they come around, you see how happy they are. If they remember that they'll be traveling back, they'll be so depressed. So no place like home. The advice is that everybody should stay back and work on this country. It's all about value. It's all about value. Value what you have. If it's akara you are frying, value it. You don't leave your home for...
Leaving.
Ha! Leave this country. I won't leave my country for anybody. I will not leave my country, Nigeria, for anybody. You want to know why? No place like home. No place like them. There that are house there, they are not even comfortable. They are not, because you see that anytime they come around, you see how happy they are. If they remember that they'll be traveling back, they'll be so depressed. So no place like home. The advice is that everybody should stay back and work on this country. It's all about value. It's all about value. Value what you have. If it's akara you are frying, value it. You don't leave your home for another person to repair it. If all of us leave, they are just there making us, taking advantage of us. Nigeria is great. We have everything. They are even jealous of us. So they should sit back and prepare their country for a better Nigeria. It's in our hand. Nobody will do it for us.
Wow.
Nigeria. Good morning, 042, and a beautiful day to everyone watching today. You're tuned into Sunrise on Aneke TV, where every sunrise begins with delightfulness and joy, and bringing you today's daily dose of brightness. I am Deborah Walkabout, coming to you live from our studio here in Vibrant Enugu.
And good morning to you, our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at your desk, in transit, or even making breakfast, thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful morning. We're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, it's Wednesday, 7th January 2026, and of course we've got a power-packed morning for you today here on Sunrise on Aneke TV, where we've got our weather report, we've got that special sunrise vibe for us to own our day.
So, grab a cup of coffee or tea, relax, enjoy the cruise, because the sunrise is set sail.
Yes, and after that, we'll be starting things off with our quote of the day. With was that thoughtful, was that inspiring, was that offer insight in whatever we do to help us stay well driven, stay focused, and be motivated.
Then, it's straight into the day's top headlines. All the key news updates you need to remain informed will be shared hot and tasty.
Yes, then we'll be giving you our weather reports covering major cities across the southeast and beyond, so you'd know what to expect before you step out, or if you've stepped out already, it is to keep you throughout the rest of the day.
Then we'll wrap things up by bringing the man of many parts, the sports oracle and the commissioner of enjoyment, and we'll wrap things up with the Nigerian stock market update.
Alright, now let's move over to our morning show inspiration segment. Today it is coming from Martin Luther King Jr. and in his quote he said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." I'm going to take that quote again, coming from Martin Luther King Jr. that says, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." Now what this quote is saying is that we do not have to figure everything out before we make that step, or we don't have to figure everything out before we begin what we are supposed to do. And also this quote is actually emphasizing on progress, that progress starts by taking one small courageous step forward. Just like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And also this quote from Martin Luther King Jr. is also still saying that we should trust that clarity and direction will come as you move ahead. So whenever we're through whatever we're going forward, that we shouldn't be afraid to take a bold step, a courageous step. So we shouldn't care about what is ahead, but instead we should move forward, and at the end of the day we would succeed.
Yeah, we'll thank Martin Luther King first of all for being this intentional, coming out with this very quote to motivate us into action. And he is telling us that you don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to start by taking that first step. Let's just bring it home literally. When you want to climb stairs, you don't get to see the final or the middle, you just start by taking a step at once. And Martin Luther King, being who he is, this morning is telling us and all of us that poverty can only be stepped away from by taking that act of blind faith in wanting to move away. Just take that first step. It's only that first step that could take you away from generational poverty. Wanting to get a perfect plan doesn't cut it. You just start by moving with what you have on ground. It could be starting a business as an entrepreneur. Start from the corner of your house. It could be a table. You don't need to wait till you get a shop. Just start that first step. It could be beginning to hawk what you have at hand. It starts with just first step. So you want to build a house. Remember, building a house starts with having the plan. When you have the land, then get the sand, get the needed material. It's all about taking that first step. It's all about taking a professional course. Just the intent is good, but make that first move. That in itself is what's going to change the situation. So is 2026. We're in the first month of a 12-month calendar. Where are you at the moment? Just take a step, a blind step of faith. That's what Martin Luther King is telling us, that it all starts with a step. And at the end of the day, when it's 365 days, completely a year, you'll be happy that you made that first move. You took that first step. That blind faith in believing in your ability, starting from where you are, will definitely ensure and lead you into success. The greatest fear is to be met as when we take stock after 365 days and you're still at that very spot. So, like Martin Luther King is telling us, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take that first step. And we are telling you here this morning on Aneke TV on Sunrise, just take that first step.
All right, thank you very much for that. And while you're taking that bold step, please keep in mind that each new sunrise is a platform for us to grow. It's an opportunity where we try something new or simply be more present in whatever we do. And let us know what this quote means to you. You can drop your thoughts on our social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, or at Aneke TV, or call our phone number 070-3043-7110. And up next is our weather report.
Yes, we'll take a look at the weather report across major cities in the southeast today.
And we'll be starting off with Oka. Good morning, Oka. You wake up to mostly cloudy skies with nice warm temperatures as you step out. Through the day, expect a mix of clouds and sunshine with highs around the low 30 degrees Celsius, which is comfy and dry with no big rain surprises.
And good morning, Coal City. This morning, Enugu kicks off with a touch of cloudy but brightens up as the sun climbs. By mid-morning, partly sunny vibes with temperatures rising towards the mid-30 degrees Celsius. Great weather if you're heading out for that early errand or coffee.
In Abakaliki is shaping up with passing clouds turning into sunny spells as the day heats up. Temperatures may flirt with the mid-30 degrees Celsius, so light clothing is your best friend today, but keep your water bottle close.
Good morning, Imo State, and welcome to that beautiful city of Owerri. This morning, we expect few showers, but don't let that dampen your mood. It clears into mostly sunny or warm weather by midday. Perfect mix of rain, washed air, and sunshine.
And in Umahia, it's cloudy early with sunshine peeking through later on. You will enjoy warm temperatures in the low 30 degrees Celsius, which is ideal for outdoor plans or lunch with friends.
So, wherever you are in Southeast today, stay safe, stay clear, dress light, but do remember, either rain or shine, we've got you covered. And this is your weather report here on Sunrise on Aneke TV. We'll go on a short break and we'll return with more news updates.
Watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Now let's take a look at the papers today, starting from The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and The Guardian newspaper.
And joining us this morning, as always, is Mr. Res Arum, our in-house analyst, to give flesh to these whole news stories. And with us again is Mr. Good Hope, the man of many parts. It's good to have you this morning, Mr. Rest.
Well, thank you for having me once again. We're here to dissect what the newspapers say in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now moving over to the Nation paper, and the headline there says, students rally support for tax laws, shove protest plan. And in the Punch paper, the major headline there says, power drain electricity subsidy nails 2 trillion naira yearly. And on the Vanguard paper, the major headline says, terrorists on rampage in Kwaras, Kastina, Kaduna, many abducted. And still on the Vanguard headline, Rivers, you can't cry foul now to Raki, PDP blast APC over Wiki. And lastly, in the Guardian headline says, Nigerians fuel, crude importation concerns defies price war. And we're starting today with our paper coming from the Vanguard. And the headline that says, Rivers, you can't cry foul now to Raki's PDP blast APC over Wiki. The political tension in Rivers State has taken a sharper tone as senior PDP figure Turaki fires back at the APC, insisting the ruling party has no moral right to complain about the ongoing crisis. According to him, the APC benefited from earlier political maneuvers involving former Rivers Governor Yusuf Wike and therefore cannot cry foul now that the situation has escalated.
Well, looking at this news this morning, the Vanguard newspaper, I sort of, started smiling. One may want to, look at the APC that is now beginning to, look at the activities of Yesun Wike with some pinch of salt and say that the lion you embolden is now roaring louder. And it's as if one may want to say that, yes, at the end of the day, what goes around comes around. The FCT minister Yesun Wike, when he was at his element and with the PDP, at getting the brunt of it, the APC seems to be cheering him on. Then today, it seems that the battle line is getting set to be drawn, with the feelers coming out from the news, where we'll see that all is no longer rosy with his godson. Speak to the governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim Fubara, and the national publicity, the national secretary of the APC, leading to APC allowing the Fubara to join his fold, being supported by the governors of APC, seems to have alarmed Wike, the FCT minister, who with his body language seems not to be consulted before those moves were made, and has come up publicly to lampoon the national secretary of the APC and the APC, and saying that his move to the APC doesn't grant him automatic tickets to contest for the seat of the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Rest. Now this morning is the APC that is crying, and the PDP are now advising the APC. How and what's your take on this issue?
Well, it is not easy to give a monkey water, a cup of water. It's about taking back the cup from the monkey. You see, the APC sort of created Wike in the way Wike is presently, trying to defy everything. Wike is still a member of a faction of PDP, yet Wike wants to control the APC as well. He has not moved over to APC. He has not resigned his membership of PDP. Yet, he is still trying to influence the activities of APC. The fact that a sitting governor, no matter the way he did, he helped him to come on board as a governor. A sitting governor moved to the APC. He has not moved, has moved to APC. Well, he was in slumber. He didn't know when the move was made. Some of the governors of APC, in fact, the primary situation was that Wike wanted to install a governor in another state. He wanted to put somebody who had been in PDP and destroyed PDP to become the APC candidate of a state, APC candidate of a state. And the governor of the state is a very influential governor in Nigeria. And the governor decided that it will not happen that way. So what the governor had to fight back, and incidentally has a commanding influence on most of the governors of APC in Nigeria. So what he did was to broker a deal between Fubara and the president. And Fubara now went into APC and became #1. Of course, the governor of a state is the head of the political party where he belongs. So in APC, Fubara was or remains #1. Then when Wike got wind of it, in fact, he was running helter-skelter. He went back to River State and was, touring the localities, speaking to people, and there and then he started, coming out, against the secretary of course, the secretary of APC had to intervene and say, you are not in our party to determine what happens. You are saying that the governor, the #1 citizen who belongs to our party, will not be given a ticket. How can you in PDP determine who will be given a ticket in APC? So these are the kind of things that brought about a very serious imbroglio. In fact, it was almost snowballing into, if they had seen face to face, it would have snowballed into a shouting match. But on the faces of newspaper, it's been trading of words between Wike and the APC secretary from the southwest. So Turaki on his own now began to see that the monster, or what he alluded as monster created by the APC, is beginning to haunt them. That is, it was an allusion anyway. And he said, after all, you had Wike doing all the best for you, destroying our party, doing a whole lot of things in our party. And today, he has, even from our party, coming into your own party to destroy it as well. So, you see, karma has played a role. So, Turaki, who is the chairman of one of the other faction, because Wike still said he belongs to one of the factions of PDP. So, and PDP is in court to determine which one is the authentic PDP. So from there, Turaki now had to talk to APC. It is what you created. Your creation of APC has turned out to become a problem to APC. Even the national chairman of APC have all, intervened in the way Wike was having problems broadcasting about an agreement, but these agreements were just made verbal agreements. And of course, the governor of River State, Fubara himself, was in PDP then. So now he's in APC. I don't think such an agreement will prevail on him, because after all, what APC wants is to have all the governors. They have about 20-something governors now, going to 30. They have 20-something governors going to 30. So they have many of the governors in the opposition parties have all cross-carpeted into APC. So what is it they want? So they will not support Wike. In fact, nobody in APC has shown enormous support except the zonal chairman south-south of APC, who also lent his voice supporting Wike and all that, and which the national secretary warned him that some powers will be invoked by the National Executive Council of APC if he doesn't take his time. That he is still under the #1 person in APC in the state who is the governor. So for him to begin to refer to their governor, to a governor, as the so-called governor, because that was what that vice chairman used, that it is untenable, it is not taken by anybody. You should withdraw forthwith referring to him as that, because it is not a very good reference. You don't refer to a governor as the so-called governor. How can you say that? A governor elected by the people, you call him the so-called governor. Who are you? Because you are the vice chairman. Vice chairman is just a spare tire. It doesn't have any significant role in anything. Vice everywhere. So that is the situation. Except you want us to go.
No, but the question I want to ask in all this, it seems that the peace that was brokered by Mr. President, leading to the suspension of democracy in River State for 6 months, and then thereby bringing about the peace, the fragile peace that was enjoyed about a few months, seems not to be so solid after all.
When you talk about peace brokered at that time was just peace to ensure that there won't be anarchy sort of in a situation because of the followers of Fubara. And then we are talking about a Fubara that was in PDP. So the peace was to keep him in office, because they were already trying to do things that are not done to ensure that he's booted out of office, even as a governor. The House of Assembly, at that time, the lawyer to Wike mass entered APC. When Fubara went to court and said they should lose their seats, they now went to court and said they have not moved. And the Supreme Court ruled they have not moved. Fine. And now that it's quite funny, the situation in Rivers. So the peace that was brokered by the president was peace because the president needed people to support him for a re-election. Now he has. The problem in Rivers State is for him to have Rivers State, and he has gotten Rivers State. The governor has moved over to APC and is loyal to him and is supporting him and is willing to support him for a re-election bid. So, in fact, Wike's mission is ended almost. If one sees it from a perspective that even the president should know that the mission of Wike, what he asked Wike to do, he has done. Cure ED. What erat demonstrandum. So Wike can even be dispensed with, since he's not even in APC, except he wants to come into APC. So the peace was fragile at that time.
Is he officially not in APC?
But the peace was not signed. It was not cast on stone. These agreements were in principle. They were in principle, and things have changed. And because due to the dynamic changes that has happened between the period and now, it cannot be binding on anybody, especially the governor. How can you say that the governor there's no constitution? You say it's a breach of constitutional right. He has the constitutional right to run for election, given 2 times, run and win the election, or rule given 2 times by the Constitution. So how can somebody just say with a word of mouth? So with a word of mouth, somebody can now, suspend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it's a constitutional right by Fubara, and it is fundamental rights too. So it is a breach of fundamental right for anybody to even say so. And for you to make such an agreement, the agreement, if it goes to court, it will not be binding, because it negates all principles of fundamental rights.
All right. I know this may be quite early, and you've rightly observed that, yes, the president has secured Rivers State by the virtue of the fact that the sitting governor has moved to APC. But I want to ask, do you see a situation where, the governor is of the APC, the FCT minister was for Mr. President as well, and though, like I did say, maybe too early, but do you see the FCT minister in any way working against the interests of Mr. President if he endorses Fubara?
if he does, he'll be ruined. You know that when you are in government, you do all manner of things. There's been several allegations and all that. Can't you see what is happening to those who have decided not to support Mr. President? Can't you see that the anti-graft war is centered on such persons presently? It's not as if
who cannot link both situations.
No, but you will see it when it happens. So Wike should be very, very careful, and he's been fighting at all fronts. He's been fighting at all fronts. Like I told you, that the governor brokered that peace and brought Fubara in. He's fighting that same governor, and that same governor is a very influential governor in Nigeria. I do not want to name the governor. I do not want to call names. So Wike has been fighting everywhere. A lot of people tend to detest some of his activities. You know, he's quite a very wonderful man, very loquacious. He talks, he tells you everything. If you want to exchange words with him, he's always ready. Can't you see how many times he talks to the media about one person or the other who are fighting him or who are saying that the things he's doing is not good? So it will not be a good idea. It will not be a good idea, especially when the president sees that Wike has done the job he wanted him to do. You see, a job done, it cannot be undone. More so when you've attracted enemies as a result of doing that job.
Okay, but before I let you off on this very issue, I know they say everything is possible in politics and you can never say never. But with what is going on, do you phantom any room for another reconciliation between the governor and the godfather?
Oh, then of course, the politics is dynamic, and most aspect of things in our human endeavor is dynamic. There are chances because, you see, what is common in politics is interest. There's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy. What is permanent is interest. So if it comes to sharing interest, if Fubara and his godfather, his godfather Wike, because of course Wike brought him to power. After God, Wike is the next person that helped God to ensure that Fubara came to power. So yes, of course, Wike, Fubara and Wike could begin to share another common interest, and when that common interest meets in peace, of course, they will chart a new way of peace, discussions and so on. People will come into it, and then somebody will come down to the other. Just like, the dog, while they are playing, when the dogs are playing, the smaller one will fall, the bigger one will also fall, as if the smaller one was able to push it down. So that is the fighting, or the playing of a dog. So politics is a game. They are all playing, and what is common with them is interest. Now, Wike is interested in Tinubu's second term. Fubara is also interested in Tinubu's second term. Tinubu has achieved that both parties are on the same phase, they're on the same page. They are all working for him. It has happened even in some states in the southeast here, where those who were opposed and the others, they were all brought together to work for the same person, one of the governors of the southeast here. I do not want to call names. So I think Tinubu is home and dry with the situation in Rivers State. If he calls for another peace, he will always say, gentlemen, calm down. We are all working for the same goal. The goal is for us to be in governance, and that is primary. You see, anything outside the primary goal is now personal to anybody that tries to propagate it. That is, if Wike is insisting that somebody else must be governor of, no, it's not about that. It's about president. It's about president. It's not about him. It's not about what he wants. It's about what Mr. President wants. And that is why he recruited him to work for him.
All right. Before finally, just the final one on this very issue, and I want to ask, where does this leave the people of River State?
Well, the people of River State have always had their affinity and emotions towards Fubara more. There are people, loyalists to Wike, they're all still there. He went to Aneke Tom's house. He was, was massaging his ego. He was talking that he's a good man, and so on and so forth. That they have the relationship between them have been, very cordial and all that. He's been going about talking to some people are loyal to him, some people are loyal to Fubara, and all those loyal to Wike and Fubara are all going to be for the president.
All right, very well said. Over to Deborah.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now moving over to our next paper coming from the Punch newspaper, and the headline there says, power drain, electricity subsidy nears 2 trillion naira yearly. And the cost of electricity subsidies in Nigeria is fast approaching 2 trillion naira annually, raising serious concerns about sustainability. Experts warn that the huge spending is putting pressure on government finances and limiting investment in power infrastructure. The report highlights inefficiencies in the power sector with calls for targeted subsidies, improved metering, and reforms that protect the poor while reducing waste.
All right, Mr. Rest, I will quickly run to you of this very one because a lot of Nigerians for sure do not believe that they are benefiting anything from government in terms of subsidy since the fuel subsidy was removed. And whenever you speak about subsidizing power in Nigeria, the generality of Nigeria, look at you somehow. They always take you a pinch of salt. But we have been told this morning that this subsidy from government, is beginning to weigh down the coffers of government, and they are looking at this from a different angle this time around. And eventually, if government, takes a different step as regards the subsidizing of metering to improve power around the nation, well, then we may see total darkness. But Mr. Rest, I don't know if you have a different opinion from the generality of Nigerians who don't feel that the power they enjoy, is actually really subsidized in terms of how the impact on the pocket of the generality of Nigerians.
I am going to be emotional in this. I'm sorry I have to be. Where is the power? What are they subsidizing? Of course, the regulatory agency, power regulatory agency, increased tariffs and all that. And the federal government is also funding the metering. All these things are based on how to tax the users. Metering is about how to regulate electricity and tax people and for them to pay. But the generation, is it done? What is the level? What is the quantity of electricity being generated on the whole in Nigeria? Let them tell us. Sometimes they'll begin to say 6,000 megawatts, and at the other time they say electricity has dropped to 2,000 megawatts. It's epileptic. Even right inside this television, I do not know how many hours you stay on public power supply.
If you're asking about how many hours you stay on public supply, is on the news that even Asurok is on solar.
That is exactly what I am saying. So you know how many hours you stay on public power supply. So where is the power that is being subsidized? where is the power? Is the power generated? Is it given to the people? So what are you subsidizing? Subsidy has become one conduit pipe in this country. They said subsidy on petroleum. They have removed subsidy on petroleum and people are still crying. They said when subsidy is removed, the money will now be plunged into meaningful ventures that will create jobs for the teeming populace of this country. But it has not been so. In fact, the economic situation in Nigeria has since worsened since after the removal of our subsidy, removal of petroleum subsidy. So if government wants, they should have a rethink. When did they start subsidizing this? Is it not when they started the metering business? The old meters are no longer, worth doing with. So they had to come with a new metering, and even they changed the tariff to very whooping sums that Nigerians are crying foul. If you go to Abuja, people are, bullied. They take police and security agencies to the houses of people to know who does what on power. But the question I still continue to ask, where is the power that is being subsidized, upon which federal government pays about 2 trillion per annum? I wonder where they are doing that. If this 2 trillion per annum is given to Dangote to build a power station and generate electricity, I bet you he will build a power station that will generate over 2,000 to 3,000 megawatts in this country, and continually will be fully maintained. It will not be such that we fluctuate. It is generating 1,000 megawatts today. It is generating 2 tomorrow. It will be steady. If you give it to a private individual, that is what is solved in terms of business management. They don't know what to do these things. You see, Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa in terms of those who manufacture generating sets, power generating equipment. And therefore, it is like a syndicate. It is like a cartel that is sabotaging power supply in Nigeria. It is like that. Because if it is not, if you think about how much money Nigerian government has plunged into power generation in this country, then you find out that such money could buy another country. It could, that is, if Nigeria is going to pay for a country and say this country will be our own, that money would have paid for it. It is so much money, it is so huge that we cannot even name it, we cannot even count it. Anybody who can count it should come out and tell us. You see, so Nigeria has wasted so much money. So I'm beginning to see, from my perspective, that there is sabotage, there is a cartel behind this to ensure that a lot of companies that are producing power generating equipment may go extinct if there is power in Nigeria.
But Mr. Reyes, do you think that if Nigeria should, ban the importation and manufacturing of generating sets in Nigeria, that in itself would cause the government and the agencies in charge of power generation in Nigeria to improve on the quality of service?
No, if it's about power generating, that is for the organization that will generate. Of course, they have, the federal government of Nigeria have given licensing for independent power generators, and we have not seen much of that. It is just like the petroleum refining, which 40 licenses have been given, and we only have Dangote now on board, and we're expecting BUA, which might take a few years to come, and then the 38 others, where are they? So the independent power producers, where are they? They have not generated anything. I know there's one in Aba. I don't know how much it generates, but I learned the people within the area enjoying better power than people that are not there. So that is, in fact, it is disheartening that the independent power generators, it has been made for power generation to come from various angle independent bodies, yet we have not seen the power. So that is why I still point at the fact that something is wrong somewhere, which means there is sabotage somewhere. Why are these companies not coming on board to generate the needed power? Then when you talk about generating power and Nigerians are enjoying electricity, then we'll now begin to talk about the price, the tariff, the electricity tariff. But we are not even enjoying it. You don't have the light to enjoy. Then we'll talk about tariff and then talk about taxation.
All right. But one thing we may not separate with the epileptic power supply and generation in Nigeria may equally be tied around the security situation in Nigeria as well.
How can you tie it around the security situation? How often have you seen these terrorists blow power stations? It has not happened. So you don't begin to say the security situation, it has not affected, it has not gone to that side. The terrorism in Nigeria has gone to mowing down human lives and property. It has not gone to power generating equipment, going to dams and all that, blowing them and so on and so forth. And they have not even come to that. It is only when you begin to come out to become revolutionary in terrorism, that's where you begin to blow, these things that will affect the states adversely. So can we say insecurity has brought about power generation?
But we've seen where the pipelines that supply gas to these plants were, vandalized by
vandals.
Security threats as well.
Vandals, not terrorists.
Really?
Yes, vandals. The pipelines, you see, we have had the pipeline vandals all along, even before the insurgency came into full blast in Nigeria. We had the vandals, they go through the pipes. Sometimes some of them even lay pipes and, put in their own pipes to siphon, oil, in different types of oil, PMS, and the rest of them, diesel and so on. They siphon it in the forest and lay pipe a very long distance and begin to fill in that. That is economic sabotage. These are vandals. These are people who want to make money. It's not about terrorism. Terror doesn't care about all that money making, except that most recently, the president before the National Assembly was able to categorize even cultism as terrorists.
All right, Mr. Reyes, a number of times, and like this morning, we've spoken about these challenges, the problem. Can we proffer solutions? What do we need to do to see that the situation is improved?
Okay. One, the federal government should look at those that have issued license to produce power in Nigeria. That's number one. Then they should look at the DISCOs, the power distributing agencies, look at the activities and how they are going about it. These organizations should be independently audited so that we know exactly how much they earn and how they manage those resources and what comes into government coffers as a result, so that the government will know how much money they will plunge into the power sector once more. The monies plunged into the sector has not been accounted for by anybody. It has not been accounted for by anybody. And then you want the government to plunge in, to put in more money into it, to budget more money. How do you begin to do that kind of thing? Is that how to do business? If the government business should be done with transparency and accountability in such a way that people will know that this is our commonwealth, this is our collective thing, and the people vested with the responsibility of its management should be transparent and accountable to us. So that is exactly what it ought to be. You cannot say we are going to put in more money. Every day you will put in money for power and the power is not forthcoming. So how do you reconcile that? So government has to go back and look at the power sector holistically and know the actual problems. If the problem is on legislation, then they have to sponsor a bill in the National Assembly. Then the legislation will come, they will chart a new course for power production in Nigeria. Sometimes, that's why I said the cartel sometimes do not even want foreigners to come in to begin to generate power in Nigeria. The moment such people tend to enter, the discussion will be stalled, and you will not hear about it. You might hear that on the newspaper, you might read on the newspaper something like this is going to happen. In no distant time, it is swept under the carpet and nobody hears about that again. So the federal government should do something. Otherwise, how do the populace make demand on the system? It's only because the government in Nigeria has some elements, the dictatorial tendencies that is in them, that stops the populace, the people, from making demand on the system. That's why most often you don't see people coming out to protest about epileptic power supply. No company, no organization does production to optimal level as a result of power supply. And the product becomes, not financially competitive. That is to say, when you produce in Nigeria and somebody goes to China or any of the Asian countries to import those things, those ones will be sold far cheaper, because what you even consume in energy, private energy that you generate, that is through power generating plants, and the diesel you pay for will make the cost of production to be high.
All right, that's quite apt. Thank you for those in-depth analysis on these issues. And regarding this issue, we'll call on the government to ensure improved meterings and reforms that will protect the poor while reducing waste. And having said that, we'll move over to Mr. Goodhope, the sports oracle.
All right, thank you very much for this morning's edition of Sports on the Sunrise. Well, we have a sports wrap on the newspaper, what we are expecting to see, and especially what happened about the week in the AFCON and what happened yesterday in the AFCON too. Algeria had to win DR Congo yesterday in a 1-0 game, where Algeria had to score at the 118th minute, almost at the neck of time. And that goal became a screamer yesterday. That goal became the goal that sealed the deal for Algeria. Why yesterday Cote d'Ivoire had to win their game 3-0. And looking at the team, Cote d'Ivoire, and what they played yesterday, it was a fantastic game, of course. Like you are seeing the scores. And Cote d'Ivoire won Burkina Faso 3-0, just like they were about to see what Nigeria nearly scored 3 goals only on their day. So Cote d'Ivoire just had to stop at 3. But today we have what we're looking at in the newspaper, because during Nigeria's match on Tuesday, on Monday, of course, there were lots of issues that came up, especially in between Osimhen and Lookman, where the NFF has come out to clear the doubt, to clear the air, that there's nothing as such happening in the camp, that these guys are cool, they are friends, and nothing is happening. And also we are preparing that Nigeria will play their match against Algeria tomorrow, because looking at what is happening, we are going into the semis. If we win Algeria tomorrow, we're going into the semis, and we're going to have what we call an AFCON that will test our strength already. Of course, there are 8 people who have qualified for the quarterfinals, 8 teams who have qualified for the quarterfinals. You can see Senegal, Mali, Morocco, Cameroon, Egypt, Nigeria, Algeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. I wanted to ask Mr. Ress, who do you think Nigeria, if you give Nigeria right now, that would be a good opponent for Nigeria to win among these 8 teams, among the 7 teams, of course?
If you give Nigeria Cameroon, if you give Nigeria, of course we are playing Algeria.
Yes.
Any other, if you give Nigeria, it will be a difficult match between Nigeria, Egypt, or Nigeria, Morocco, and Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. But any other team you give Nigeria, I believe Nigeria will do better. And of course, tomorrow, I say by tomorrow, we're playing Algeria.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have chances of advancing to the semi-finals.
Well, Algeria is kind of unpredictable because of the way, the style of play, the kind of way they play their game and all that. So I feel like we're still going to play well. But I'm not sure about Nigeria really meaning Algeria. But it is football, it's a game. So anything can just come up. But I believe that as a country, being a good citizen, we could just have something around that, and Nigeria would find their feet.
Of course, I told you that sometime you asked me a question about Nigeria and their performance. I said they improve with every match. If you remember the last match, they were banging in goals like nobody. And of course, you can see that they have scored more goals than any other team in the tournament.
Yes, they have.
So we said it's a high-scoring side. So the chances are there that they will win Algeria. You are the sports oracle, but this time maybe I'll be a small oracle to tell you. I'll be a smaller oracle to tell you that Nigeria will be good enough. You know, they will show their prowess in African football. After all, they are 3-time champions of the AFCON. So they are progressing. We are not an underdog.
We are not, of course. I wanted to push it to Ms. Tucci about tomorrow's game. What do you think about Nigeria? I know
Anyways, so far Nigeria has been doing well. I did watch the match against this where we scored 4 goals, and I did tell you that yes, there is a good synergy amongst your front, your strikers. You know, because of the midfield, and yes, the strikers were good, but you have a midfield, you know, that I credit to the coach for being able to bring in the guys that we had in the midfield, you know, playing together. We've not had a coach that, you know, play these players in that manner at the midfield. You had a very viable midfield that could give a thorough pass that was defense splitting passes leading to the goals that you saw. So for me, kudos to the coach. But speaking to the match tomorrow, like my position has always been about Nigeria, you know, tomorrow you may be excited, you know, believing that you will win the match tomorrow, and then they fall your hand, you know, in Nigerian parlance. That's the Nigerian team. While we are doing well and we are no underdogs, we've won this tournament, you know, more than twice. One thing is obvious for me: the fact that we are doing well doesn't wash away the lack of good structure, footballing structure, when it regards to Nigerian football. You understand that equally impacts our performance all along. We are not going to the World Cup. So be that as it may, whatever our position in AFCON is, you don't take away the fact that we won't be in the World Cup. And it speaks to lack of depth, bad structure, bad organization when you talk about Nigerian football.
All right, talking about that, I will tell you that this, I said it's one of the shows that one of the sports shows that I took. And I said that Nigeria, especially this our coach, he did a great job in the midfield, because he had to summon a lot of minstrels, people who can play, like you talked about, people who can play defense splitting passes. Now, talking about Alex Iwobi, Dele, the guy who went from Sunshine Stars to Europe, and he was called back home to play for Nigeria. And also not bringing the concern that there's no home-based players who we have, who are playing for, who are representing Nigeria in the AFCON. It raises a concern. But do you think that we are so lucky not to have or we are lucky not to have home-based players. Do you think bringing in a home-based player would have been a problem, or would have affected the team's morale?
Not having home-based players in that team speaks to the decay I speak about always. Like the bad structure that I talk about, that's what it is. You don't have men who will take over from these young ones. You don't keep going abroad to scout for players always. It has to be a marriage of home-based and foreign-based players for your sport to have depth.
Well, South Africa that has home-based players, they are not in the competition again.
See, let's not over celebrate the luck that we're enjoying in this AFCON as well.
I'm surprised you're calling whatever we are playing as luck.
We have invested a lot.
See,
in this
what have you invested? You're not going to the World Cup. You're not going to the World Cup. It speaks volume to your ranking in footballing world.
Yes, anybody could not go to war. Sometimes some countries do not go to war.
I have not seen how many powerful footballing nations did make it to the World Cup.
How are you in the world?
This is the only thing that unites Nigeria. Football-wise,
second round in the World Cup.
But we should qualify. We should qualify. This is one thing that Nigeria, does very well when it comes to football.
When did they start qualifying?
When did we not start qualifying? Mr. Rest, I'm surprised. Mr. Rest, I'm surprised that you talk like this. This is a country that has carried the Olympics. Speaking to football, this is a superpower when it comes to the AFCON that we speak of. So when you talk about the quality of stars that Nigeria has provided over the years, we should be beyond this, where we are always cap in hand, praying to God, permutating for qualification. So that we are doing well in this AFCON that is not yet over. You may be up for surprises as well. I give kudos to the coach and the players, but beyond that, we shouldn't over celebrate these things, because, like you did mention, the structure is not there. You are speaking to the faulty foundation that may give way any time.
Well, that's how
I appreciate your submission.
Yes,
there's a fundamental problem in Nigerian football. Sports generally, not just football.
But let's not just drag this further, because I would have said that the women are doing well too. So basically, we could say that it's for the men. It's from men's POV in sports, and that's why we call it a wrap in today's sports show here on Sunrise.
All right. Before we move over to the issue of Nigeria stock market update, there is an issue that we'll have to discuss this morning, and speaking to the unwholesome activities of house agents in Nigeria. In Nigeria, particularly the urban areas, speaking of Lagos, Abuja, and even Enugu, the term house agents often carries a negative connotation due to the activities of house agents. The negative connotation for lack of professional regulation. While legitimate realtors exist, the market is saturated with street agents who engage in practices that exploit desperate house hunters. So this morning, let's bring this to the fore. I don't know if any of us have experienced this. Mr. Reyes, you've been around, and you would agree to these issues. For example, in Enugu here, you talk about, because of the unwholesome activities of these agents, the prices of housing has skyrocketed, where people now pay up to 600,000 for a room apartment in Enugu.
Agency in Nigeria has not been effectively regulated. There's a legislation, or there's supposed to be a legislation for agency in Nigeria. Of course, there is existing legislation, but I do think that these legislation are, out of date. They are not in consonance with the present realities. But at the same time, government has to look at that, very well. You go to Enugu, go to Lagos, go to everywhere. The street agents have become a menace. Sometimes they even extort money from those who are looking for places to live. They extort money. They even take away their money and run away and all that. So, because it is not effectively regulated, so I expect that the regulation should be done by government in such a way that there'll be decorum in most of the things you do about agency, so that when people are looking for places, of course, the kind of money they take from those who are interested in having houses, they are whoever is patronizing them is so outrageous. It's so outrageous. Even in the coal city here, the house agents could take much more than you expect. And then they even ask you about, the lawyer will take about 2 times that, the house agent will take, and so on and so forth. And this will, before you pay for a flat, a newly built building in Enugu, you must keep like 1.8 million just for 1 year. Between 1.5 to 1.8 million. Because the house on its own might be about 800 to 900 to 1 million. Then the agency might be between 300,000. The lawyer's fee be about 300,000 or 400,000. So you might pay 700 or 800,000 in just the agent, the lawyer's fee, and the agency. So it is so whooping and scary that people, that's why people now go to live in slums, places that are uninhabitable. If you come right inside the city here, you can see the urban slums. You can see places where you have mud walls, and people, about 3-4 persons, are living in places that makeshift, bedrooms and toilets and so on. So it is disheartening. But I believe that it is one of the things that government had to look at and be able to correct in such a way. Beyond that, housing deficits in Nigeria, according to the census, are quite high. We need housing. It is because the houses are not enough for the population. That's why people are doing all that share practice. If the houses are there empty and people build houses and they're empty, they will find out that they are not making the money. After they have invested, they will come down their prices and the agency and all that.
All right. Before I let others into this conversation, let me give context. Yeah, you spoke quite well about this very issue, but I want to get it home a little bit. The issues, yes, there is house deficit in Nigeria, but let's take a human angle to it. And I want to, like Mr. Goodhope, that would always say that he's always speaking for the grassroots. Now speak for the grassroots. And when you did talk about looking for those who have to keep 1.something million, I want to speak for those who are looking for a room apartment where you may just have to, all you need is to be able to raise at least 200,000 to get a decent room apartment. Asking you to keep 600,000, and when you look at what the money is meant for, usually upon investigation, I discovered that most of these houses actually go for less than 200 or 250,000 even, and then you have to pay the excesses to house agents who now ask you, first of all, you fill form. After filling the form, you have to pay what they call inspection fee, and either you like the house or not, that inspection fee is gone. Then you now love this house. Then the charges now begin. You now pay what you call, you filled form, you've paid the inspection fee, you now fill another form where you pay for the agent fee, you pay lawyer agreement fee. Then you see that all the money being paid now is enough to pay for a 3-year rent of the house you want to move in. And beyond that, there's equally another issue to it. Due to the unregulated nature of the environment, speaking to house agents, where some of them scam even these house hunters. I don't know. I was thinking that maybe given time, we may bring people to come and talk about their experiences on this issue. And why I speak this way is that I want to look at it from the human perspective, because these are human beings involved, and we are all humans. We can't wait for government to do everything for us. Now, human beings taking advantage of people who are in need, people who are in want, people who need shelter, who need roof over their head, and then we'll see that as an opportunity, an avenue to cash out. You know, to speak the Nigerian language, we'll take it as an avenue to cash out. Mr. Goodhope, Deborah, I don't know if you're quite agitated about this issue as I am.
I am very, very agitated concerning this issue, because with the way the economy is going like this now, I can see you don't even have enough to afford a good home, a good room to stay with. Like Mr. Rex earlier said, that because of this, people are forced to move into places that are not inhabitable. Now you find out that, and mostly this, especially the students, now let's say the student, for example, they have to pay a certain huge amount just to acquire this house, which is double the price of, double the rent. Now you have to pay the agent fee, and most times you find out that you're not even the only one who has paid for that apartment. Now these agents, what they actually, most of them actually do, they collect money from two different persons, and then you can sort yourself out, and you can be roommates in a, let's say, in a self-contained apartment. And now going forward, you could see that the pictures that were displayed earlier, you could see the prices ranging from 250,000 to just for a house where the rent is 300. You would see where the agent fee is even more. Now the landlord of the house is just collecting, should I say, like 300.
Sorry to cut in, but shouldn't we say that even landlords are complicit in this? You know, we speak about house agents. Don't you think that house owners are equally complicit in this?
Some house owners have been equally turned to agents.
Yeah.
So they will still take the rent and take the agency money. So it is there. There's nothing people don't do for money. That is Nigerian factor. People do a whole lot of things for the purpose of making money. Corruption has become systemic. If there's no way you can cheat the other person, people are not satisfied with what they're doing on the planet Earth, especially in Nigeria. So we have seen, don't you know about people who manufacture the drugs at the backyard, at their backyards in Onitsha? So people put Gary into capsules and so on. Yes, of course, people have been caught doing that. So that is the way, you know, it is done in Nigeria. Most people. That does not take away the fact that there are decent, good people in Nigeria, of course, but they are small. The greater percentage of the population have been destroyed by the belief that you must get money. That is why, you know, mentorship and role modeling is no longer there. What the younger person see in role models as those who make money. That's why you see the Yahoo boys coming out with very gorgeous cars, and the younger ones are thinking about how to start running those cars from a young, and they get involved in all manner of crime. So it is not only just in housing. So in housing we have a problem in Nigeria, and we, like he said, we must I do not subscribe to the government will not do. What are you going to do? Are you going to march on the streets and begin to beat people who extort money? No. The only way to do that is set up things that we checkmate. That is why I said we have very weak institutions. If we have strong institutions, it will checkmate the excesses of individuals in whatever thing they are doing. The excesses will be checked. There are things to checkmate what you are doing. If you get involved in unholy act, of course the long arm of the law will catch up with you. So if we have house agents, agency has to do with 10-5%. It's a standard almost world over. So,
but what we're looking at here now is beyond 10-5%.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But Mr. Rice, beyond looking at the government, you know, with policies, you know, What can we do as a people? Because these are human beings involved. There's no longer sympathy in our society who is all about taking advantage. What can we do?
Okay, you know, there's something about Nigerians. But something about Nigerians is such that when you even have an advantage to make a demand on the system, Nigerians don't do it. They will tell you, are we going to go to court? That's what I'm saying. You find out that if you are driving and you have an altercation with a law enforcement agent on the road, you either dispense with money, which is corruption, than going with him and go to court, where you may likely be discharged for not doing anything, and it will be there. But because you say, that's going to waste time. Sometimes I was in a vehicle, they say, the other person, the driver, give him money and let's go get out of here. Give him money, let's get out of here. I say, why should he give him money? For what? What is the giving of money for? And so on. So we don't make demand on the system. When you have such problems, you go to court. When you have such problems, you demand that the right thing should be done. A man in Abuja, police officers came into his house and started reeling out charges against him and took him and locked him up and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, they extorted 10 million from him. It has not been long. And today, he came back, asked the lawyer, briefed his lawyer. The lawyer wrote to the Inspector General of Police. And the matter is in process. They have returned 4 million out of the, and the rest of the money has been difficult to return because they have all shared and eaten that one. They only returned 4 million. So, but you must make a demand on this. At least those people will go to jail. The police officers, they will lose their job as police officers, and so on and so forth. So that you will know the next other police officer will now look at what his former police officer did and that landed that person in jail and will not want to do it. That is the way it should be done. Nobody is going to fight the agents on the street and fight the landlords. Landlords, if you talk to them anyhow, they tell you to leave. Their house is their house and nothing but that. So what we do is implementation of the tenancy agency laws. Implementation. There are laws that guides most of these activities, but are not effectively implemented in Nigeria. So we expect that government will help us implement it.
All right.
Well, if I would say how it's happening, an agency fee in Nigeria is a lot, but I just want to put it at that because even writing the real estate in the building of houses, many people will tell you that this house, how they found this house for you, you don't know what they went through before they found this house. Like we're talking that even landlords are now part of their countries. So for me, I will talk about this and I will give the solution in my own aspect, because the whole thing is there is nothing you can do about it a lot, because these agents, they too, they are doing their work. You don't know how much they have put into coming to that particular to find that particular house. But let me tell you why some of that fee is high. One agent is not, you don't have one agent for one house. Most of these houses they are finding is not one person that finds the house. I hope you know that 2 agents, 3 agents.
Is there a justification for the prices to be high?
Okay, see what happens. When you talk about justification for the prices to be high, they themselves are not looking at it from this side. They are just looking at it that, okay, when this house is settled, I'm going to take 5 million. You're going to take 5 million. You're going to take 5 million. I've seen a situation where they made up to 10 million naira and it's not one person that shares it. Just like selling.
So how do we check this situation? Because people are suffering due to this situation.
Well,
there are a lot of individuals who don't have roof over their head because they can't afford to pay for such exorbitant fees hiked by house agents.
Well, I think how we can get this done is to bring in, like Mr. S has said, the government should form a policy. We should have a policy for agents or people who are aspiring to go into real estate in Nigeria, because these things are important. I mean, it should be something that has been formed, something that has been, set up. That government, if anybody is going into real estate or going into, you should register that you are an agent, and government should checkmate it. That's all.
All right, quite apt. From what Mr. Reza said already, I think there's need for more government action as this unwholesome practice of house agents is concerned. Then one other area that we should look into is perhaps beginning to unionize these agents and then license them as well, so that we'll be able to differentiate touts from licensed realtors, so that we'll begin to, it will be easier for government to regulate these practices, and where people are being scammed, you're dealing with the right registered agent. In that way, it will be easy to even prosecute such a person. We will continue to, discuss, dissect, and probe on these issues, because it is a whole lot of menace on our society. People are really suffering, and like you rightly pointed out, it has made people to, move away from the urban centers and move into slums. People live in mud houses, in two strays, because of the situation at hand. We'll continue to probe them, but as time is running out and we are receiving signals, this is the Nigerian stock market update for January 2nd, 2006. The Nigerian Stock Exchange continued with its historic bullish run, with the all-share index closing at a record 159,951.0.8 points. The market has been on a 15-day winning streak, driven by the January effect and portfolio rebalancing by institutional investors. Notably, the stock market capitalization now stands at approximately 102.28 trillion. The shares traded by volume is 745.20 million shares, and the value traded is 19.40 billion naira. By the total number of deals is 53,632. And then the top 5 leaders as of yesterday were led by Mayor PLC, which closed its book yesterday at 14 naira 30 kobo, making a +10 positive adjustment. They are followed by Jaiz Bank PLC, which closed trading yesterday at 5 naira 28 kobo, equally making a +10 positive adjustment. They are followed on the list equally by ABC Transport, which closed its book yesterday by 4 naira 96 kobo, making a +9.98% adjustment. With they are equally on the list is Austin Lars and Company Limited, which equally closed its books yesterday at 5 naira 64 kobo, making a +9.94% positive adjustment. And for the losers, they are led by Aluminium Extraction Company, which is being traded as Alex, closing their book yesterday at 21 naira 70 kobo, making a -9.96 negative adjustment. The second on this list is Lean Africa. Lean Africa closed its books yesterday at 5 naira 95 kobo, making a -9.16 negative adjustment. The third on the list is Owando PLC, which closed trading yesterday at 40 naira 80 kobo, making a -7.69% negative adjustment. So they are followed by United Bank for Africa, which is traded as UBA, closing the market yesterday at 43 naira, making a negative -6.22% negative adjustments. Then the final on the list of these are the fifth of the list of losers yesterday is Access Holdings, which yesterday closed trading at 23 naira 50 kobo, making a -6.00% negative adjustment. Then you know that the financial stocks, saw heavy activities. They were led by leakage, assurance, and Sterling Bank leading in terms of volumes traded. You know that investors are currently taking positions ahead of the full year earnings. But do remember that before you make any investment in the financial sector, do well to consult a certified financial analyst or broker due to the volatility of the market. And as we speak, the market is open and trading has commenced for the day. Deborah.
All right, thank you very much for that. And here is where we draw the curtain today on Sunrise and Aneke TV. It's always a pleasure having you here every morning. And please do not forget to follow us across our social media platforms, across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, all at Aneke TV, or call our phone number 070-3043-7110. I am Deborah Wakaba.
All right, and Mr. Res Arum, thank you very much for this in-depth analysis on topical issues.
Thank you for having me, and I'll always be on Aneke TV, same time, every day.
All right, and Mr. Goodhope, the man of many parts, the sports oracle who sometimes refuses to give you the prediction, but you come to know what the prediction is after the match is played also. It's always a pleasure to have you on Sunrise, Mr. Goodhope.
Thank you very much.
All right, and I'm Uche Osai. Remember, you're not here to be average. Be unique. Keep watching Aneke TV. It will come your way same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Imo State unfolds like a living poem, a tapestry of memory, aspiration, and transformation. Here, history is not settled in the past, but continues to move forward, carried in the footsteps of Imolites, whose resolve and optimism animate every corner of the land. The people and their spirit Imolites are renewed for their courage, enterprise, and intellect. From the bustling avenues of Owerri to the rolling hills of Idato, both the young and the old carry a quiet, steadfast conviction. Education is not just a means to an end, but a calling. Their ambition lives in the classrooms, in labs, in markets, and in the global Imo diaspora. Imo's cultural heartbeat is rhythmic and rich. High life melodies mingle with gospel harmonies and modern beats, each song echoing ancestral memory and youthful vigor. Traditional dances carry stories of community, origin, and resilience, even as innovation blossoms, rooted in respect for heritage. Infrastructure and roads. Under Governor Hope Uzodinma, Imo has undergone what many describe as a road revolution. The administration claims to have delivered over 120 quality roads within 5 years. Notable among them are the dualized Owerri-Olo and Owerri-Okigwe roads. The Mbidi-Oguta Road and 18-kilometer dual carriageway was commissioned in early 2025, aiming to boost economic activities in Uru West and Oguta LGAs, especially by connecting to the Orashi Energy Free Trade Zone. Other signature infrastructure includes the Azamta flyover to decongest traffic and the Emmanuel Iwanyam International Conference Center, which has been built to world-class standards. Governor Uzodinma has also stated that these infrastructure investments are not just for mobility, but are economic corridors intended to stimulate trade, reduce travel time, and integrate Imo's communities more closely. Under human capital development, health and education, and on health, the Governor Uzodinma administration reports a comprehensive revamp. Renovation of 305 health centers, purportedly one in each electoral ward. Establishment of 55 new primary health centers announced in 2025 to expand access, particularly in rural areas. Construction of 3 new general hospitals at Ohaji, Oguta, and Omuma. Revitalization of the Imo State University Teaching Hospital and the Specialist Hospital, plus re-accreditation of nursing and midwifery schools. Creation of a state health insurance scheme known as Imo Health Insurance, which has reportedly covered more than 66,000 residents. Deployment of mobile clinics to reach rural and underdeserved communities. In education, Governor Uzodimma has significantly expanded tertiary education. What was once one functioning public university has grown to 3, along with a polytechnic and a college of education. He has also prioritized youth empowerment and governance that are strong signals of financial reforms. According to some reports, Uzodimma has focused heavily on capital spending, budgeting major parts of the state resources towards infrastructure and development. Then, Imo under Emeka Ihedioha, renewal and vision. While much of the recent narrative focuses on Governor Uzodimma, it is important to acknowledge the contributions of his predecessor, Chief Emeka Ihedioha. Through his rebuild Imo agenda, Chief Ihedioha prioritized environmental renewal. There were efforts to restore drainage, improve waste management, plant community trees, and reintroduce refuse compactor vehicles. He also restructured state finances, including implementing a treasury single account for greater financial discipline and automating revenue collection to improve the state's internally generated revenue. In agriculture, Chief Ihedioha launched an initiative called Rice Revolution to boost rice production, turn rural youths into farmers, and partner with the private sector for food security. For youth and sports, Chief Ihedioha's government reportedly worked on sports infrastructure across the 27 local government areas, envisioning healthy, active youth participation in sports. What truly defines Imo is its resilience. Where decay once prevailed, renewal now pauses. Where neglect reigned, leadership dares to imagine. The story of Imo is not only about roads and hospitals, it is about a people who refuse to accept stagnation, who carry their heritage with dignity, and who dare to dream of a better tomorrow. As night falls over palm-lined hills and Owerri streets, hum with life, Imo is not just a place, it is a promise built in classrooms, clinics, markets, and fields. In its people lies its greatest wealth, and in its bold, forward-looking dreams, its greatest power.
In a way, destabilized the gains of trying to align the Southeast with the ruling party.
What have we gained from the ruling party? What have we gained from the ruling party for belonging to the ruling party? Have we gained anything? We are just marginalized. Southeast is marginalized in APC. They don't have anything. They have only 2 ministers. Out of how many ministers we have? Only Umahi and the new minister of innovation. All of the other ones are what do you call them? Junior ministers. Southeast has not gained anything by belonging to APC. The only thing where Southeast can have a voice is to join ADC.
Okay, by joining ADC, but they say the argument has been that yes, we claim that Southeast is marginalized, that this whole move is a realignment of the Southeast to the center to attract more ministerial position, like you rightly pointed out, that it's only just two that's been attracted to the Southeast because they've been in opposition, but now that the majority is aligning with the center, that there will be more gain, which they claim that P2B has come to distort. But be that as it may, what I'm asking before we move to the the main meat of the matter is the declaration in Enugu. Why the choice of Enugu instead of
Enugu is the capital of Eastern Nigeria. Enugu is the capital of Eastern Nigeria. Don't you know about that?
Is that a statement of intent?
Enugu is the capital of, for Akagam declared the corner. Anambra is the corner. Enugu is the capital of Eastern Nigeria.
But people have argued that coming to Enugu in itself is futile because where he is expected to join the party, make a formal declaration, should have been from his word, and they've claimed that for him not to have done that in his word, that whatever happened in Enugu is a charade.
He can still go to his word and declare. He is declared as a presidential candidate. He's not declared as a ward candidate. It's still Peter is a national phenomenon. It's a national. It's not a. It's not somebody you can think you shall wear. The other people, I think, they didn't declare when he joined ADC. They didn't declare at Adamawa. He joined ADC at the center. You have to be at the center to be relevant.
Okay. Now, we're looking at where things are as at this moment. Do you think the ruling party are bothered or should be bothered with Obi's movement?
They are too much bothered. This is how they're making noise. How does they were not worried when Atiku joined. They're not worried when El-Rufai joined. But as soon as Obi declared, everything became worried. So they're so much worried that Obi's declaration is the only person out of those people who came in with senators, came in with House of Reps members, came in with House of Assembly members. The other people, El-Rufai and Atiku and the other people, they did not mobilize one single legislator to join them. So Obi's declaration is giving them sleepless night.
Okay, but in the same vein, they've equally accused P2B of, dismantling and disuniting the opposition political parties by moving away from Labour Party to ADC.
But yes, the Labour Party had a problem. Labour Party was in the pocket of APC. Like we said, APC and Tinubu destabilized PDP. They destabilized Labour Party.
Allegedly.
We can allege, yes. But you know that Labour Party was in the pocket of APC. PDP was in the pocket of APC through Wike. So they made sure that they cleared out of the Labour Party. That was why Peter really joined them.
Okay, well, let's look at things pragmatically. P2B only had 6 million votes in 2023 election.
That was created on him. He might have more.
That's what is proven. That's what's proven.
Yes.
Every other thing is allegedly, and the court didn't buy into those. So the numbers we have is about 6 million votes,
yes.
And he has moved in to ADC. Do you think, if perchance anything, the water should equally pass under the bridge again, that he may be able to amass that number of votes? And how do you think he can mobilize the Southeast to move from Labour Party to ADC?
Labour Party again.
To move from Labour Party, the Southeasterners that joined him, contributed, followed him to Labour Party. How would he be able to mobilize them to join him?
At last, what happened after Labour Party? They bought all the Labour Party candidates. All the people who are in Labour Party were bought over by the opposition political parties. Labour Party have 14 House of Assembly members. They have House of Reps. They have about 5. In the Senate, they have 2. But gradually, the opposition party and Tinubu and other people went and bought all of them. Nobody's no legislator. Labour Party in Enugu State has only one governor, candidate, one House of Assembly member. Every other member have joined APC. So I think that with that scenario, they can still make any move. So as far as Labour Party is concerned, it's dead to Tinubu and the group.
But you know, why I ask this question is, given the level of apathy that is witnessed in the southeast, which is the core area for P2B, going into 2023 election, there was a lot of work to mobilize Southeasterners to move with him, accept Labour Party as the party, as the right place, the right party to vote. Now that, like you did say, Labour Party is dead and P2B is moving to ADC, how do you think that the Southeasterners would buy into joining him again into that futile venture of getting into ADC and contesting for the presidential ticket?
Southeasterners were disappointed for what happened. They knew that P2B mobilized very, very well and ought to have won the election, but they were not happy with what happened, what came out of it. None of them is happy with what is going on now. None of them is happy. They want a place they can have a voice. As far as we're concerned, they don't have any base. The present administration.
And you think they would move with Obi instead of leaving the governors who are now aligned in the APC?
Governors have moved, but people have not moved with them. Governors have moved to APC, but people who matter are not moving with them. Okay. People are not happy.
Let's talk about the people that matter that you mentioned. We're told in politics what matters is the structures. And like the Labour Party, ADC don't have the structures on ground.
Labour P2B did not have structure in 2023. They said they don't have structure in 2023.
Yes.
But he was able to amass 6 million votes as we claim.
But he's not the president. Meaning that lack of structure didn't go on.
For somebody who came in about let's say 2 years to the election, and without structure, without any governor, without any House of Assembly member, without any House of Reps member, without a senator, to have amassed that number of votes, don't you think it was a serious issue? And everybody is now talking of P2B. If we see what is happening now, there's now issue between Pamposo and Tambua. Who is going to be running mate with P2B?
We are talking about who will be running mate with P2B, but it's not guaranteed that P2B will clinch the ticket of the ADC, whom we are told that yes, they will do. They are going to do primaries, and whoever emerges will be their presidential candidate.
Yes, they're going to do primaries.
Yes,
let's wait for.
Are you seeing P2B emerging from a primaries?
By the grace of God, P2B
has never emerged through any primaries in the past.
How? How did it, what happened to Labour Party?
The Labour Party, how did he emerge? Who was his opposition during the primaries?
Who was his opposition?
Yes. He was a consensus candidate for the Labour Party.
He could be
he didn't join the primaries in the PDP and left for Labour Party.
In PDP before, he was vice presidential candidate. You remember? Yes. In 2019.
Yes, under Atiku
Abubakar. Now, he is joining ADC. Let's see what happens. Let us not be carried away about what is happening. Atiku has been contesting since 1993. He has been contesting. He has been, know him as always contesting for presidential tickets. And people seem to be tired with him. So let's see what is going to happen. With the realignment of forces, it's likely that the youths, it's not these old people joining the party. It is the youths that are determining what is going to happen.
But okay, be that as it may, do you see Atiku stepping down for P2B?
He may not willingly step down, but he may be forced to step down.
By what forces?
By the forces against him.
Such as? What kind of force are we looking at here that would make an article that you said has been contesting presidential position
For-
over years now.
For
Give up.
Tamboa to come and say he's going to join P2V. For Kwankwaso, these are forces, south, northwest. I think it's from northeast. For these people,
Kwankwaso is still a projection. He's not there yet.
he's not yet, but he says he will join a party that will give him either presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate. That's what he said.
Yes.
He said, told Tinubu, if you are living in NPC, don't go with our governor. Maybe it's too far, governor. For him to he want to go live with Tinubu, he should not do that. And you know that Kano is a very strong place. You know that Sokoto is a very strong place. These are south northwest zones. Atiku is from northeast, and the people are almost tired of Atiku.
Okay. So what I'm asking now, let's look at it from this dimension. If P2B, with the movement you talk about in 2023, was not able to defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was himself wasn't the president as at the time, then coming into this election where the power of incumbency is at play, where the forces are aligning together, talk about the governors of virtually the South, the whole of
Governors
South,
moved. Governors moved.
I would think.
No, governor moved, but people they don't move with the governors.
People did not move. But the governors control the structures in their state.
Which structure?
Talk about the local government structures and everything. Yes.
What time comes? It is not what happened in 2023 when there was when there was what do you call it, the Aneke did the magic, and people who contested the election along with contested the election, there was no they said there was the glitch. That glitch might not happen. Everybody's eyes now open. It's not what happened in 2023 that's going to happen now. Let him do what he's going to do, and good enough. People are now wiser. Well, now wiser. What happened in 2023 might not be the same thing as 2023. And the governors, maybe see the governors, they are shaking. What happened in 2023 may not happen this time around.
Before we begin to look at Obi's speech on the day that he declared for ADC, another very important issue that I don't know if you've considered, they are twofold. One, have you considered the possibility of P2B accepting to be a vice presidential candidate under Atiku, as is being distributed, mounted, and projected by the Minister of Aviation, who has tweeted severally to accuse Obi of not being forthright with his supporters by telling them that he's already in agreement with Atiku Abubakar to be his vice presidential candidate?
That is propaganda. It's propaganda. Minister of Aviation was just talking about what he feels that Obi has not. Obedient movement says no presidential candidate. No, Obi, if Obi fails to reach presidential candidacy, he will not be the Obi is not going to run for president. He's not contesting for vice presidential candidate. The only way you can see that APC is defeated is for power shift from north to south. If P2B is there as the presidential candidate and Tinubu is there as presidential candidate, there got to be a very serious battle. That's why APC is rattled. But P2B as presidential candidate from the south, Tinubu as presidential candidate from the south, there got to be a change. Southeast will go for P2B. Southeast will go for P2B. Middle West will go for P2B. Then the Northwest, they feel that complain that are marginalized, we also go for P2B.
These are the projections that didn't work in 2023.
Because there was 2023, everybody thought is going to win.
Okay, Doctor, let me ask, what if at the end of the day, P2B becomes a vice presidential candidate? What do you think happens? The obedient movement will go their way?
Will go their way. They will withdraw.
they will withdraw.
Withdraw
That means the ADC and the opposition need to start getting set for the eventuality of that happening.
I don't think, don't canvass that P2B will accept to be a presidential running mate for Atiku. He did it before. Why must he accept to be a presidential running mate?
When you consider the 6.something million votes that
6.something million votes
that will be garnered in 2023,
that gave us
6.8.
6.8.
Yeah.
You know what happened? It's not what that 2023 is not 23 is not 2027. 27 a new chapter.
But those that would have been the clearer pathway to the presidency.
It's
Especially has been advocated by supporters of Atiku Abubakar that for the Easterners to get to the presidency, the surest pathway is for Obi to be a vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar. That would be about 12 million votes in the kitty.
Where was Tambua in 2023? What happened in 2023? Was it not Tambua that sold out against Wike? He was with Atiku that time. Yes. But it's now shifting this. Tambua, what you can, the NMP, was vehement on contesting. They told him that time to join with Obi. But he's now shifting. That he's now prepared to accept presidential candidate. Obi, Atiku is about 78 years now, or how many years now? Almost, it's almost is getting old, and for him to contest again, it will be difficult for him to contest. He may have the resources, but he may not have the people behind him.
Okay, let's take a look at this other angle. When we're talking about these issues, do not forget that the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that we speak of, has done 4 years by the 2027 election. And P2B, who is a fresh candidate, would only be coming into a new 4 years. Do you think the North that we speak of, talk about the
P2B
talk about Tambuwa coming to back, do you believe they will trust P2B to back him for a fresh 4 years than go with Tinubu that will just finish a 4-year term and is constitutionally banned from contesting again?
P2B says he's not contesting for only one single tenor. No single tenor. P2B is not going to run for second.
But there's nothing to back up. That's just mere words.
Yes, that words. Trust me. If you trust me, I tell you what it's going to be. People believe, and those who are backing P2B believe that he's going to keep to his words.
Let's talk about those who are backing him. Who are these people that you talk about? Who
It's just he just declared how many days ago?
Yes.
How many days ago? Just less than 2 weeks. Yes. But by the time the campaign starts, by mid-March, you will see people who are backing him. By mid-March, but it's just a fresh declaration. People are those who are backing him are numerous.
No, we're talking about people who are backing him. Looking at 2023, if people didn't buy into his vision and ideology in 2023, what's making him more sellable now in 2026?
Was he not buy? Did not buy people buy his vision that time? People bought his vision. Many people bought his vision. The only thing there was division among the opposition. If Atiku had not come out to contest, Papaso had not come out to contest. If all of this P2B had not come out to contest, and the three of them joined together, they would have lifted Tinubu. How many votes did the three of them Ghana? And how many votes did Tinubu Ghana? If they had come together, they would have defeated Tinubu.
Really? Okay. Now, let's look at what happened at Aneke at that day when P2B was declaring. Yes, we saw the leader of the ADC talk about former Senate President David Mark. Then the rest of the people there were majorly Easterners. The big wigs that we'll talk about, we didn't see them at that occasion.
Big wig from which state?
Other regions.
Other regions?
Yes.
I think it was P2B's declaration at Aneke was just a beginning.
But you know, a lot of people don't. You won't agree with me that you agree with me that a lot of individuals has used that to clarify P2B or classify him as a regional leader or politician that is unable to attract people from other regions.
Did you watch when article declared? How many people were there? How many people were there when Alpha declared? How many people were there when Tabua declared? If you compare the two, you see that P2B is very, very far away from them.
Okay, now let's look at P2B's speech on that very day, which clearly, when you listen from the way he spoke in the past, though not markedly changed, because he keeps talking about moving away, you know, and embracing production for Nigeria.
I've been talking of that.
Now, this time around, we should embrace more unity as a people, which he had been saying. But a lot of persons, when you listen to him, you know, this time around, calling on the generality of Nigeria, the oppositions, you know, to come together and mount a lawful resistance to election rigging, national unity across the regions, invoking Southeast leaders. One may begin to think that we're beginning to see a P2B that is more radicalized in 2026 than the P2B that we used to know.
It's in 2026, like now, yes, it become more matured than what happened in 2026. He has any more experience, he has more exposed. So P2B is somehow radicalized, if we call it as radicalized.
Okay, so but what we are looking at now is you think that the Muslim North are more willing to trust a Christian Southeastern P2B in 2026 than the combined ticket of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a Muslim, and the vice presidential candidate, who is equally a Muslim from the north.
No, I think they have tested Tinubu, and they have tested his vice presidential candidate, and they are complaining that they use it as a smoke screen. They use that Muslim ticket as a smoke screen. While Tinubu is busy amassing wealth, doing a lot of things for their own people, marginalizing the northerners. So they don't trust that just that ticket of Tinubu and Kashim.
Okay. You know, a lot of Obi's critique always talk about when he talks about moving from production or talking about production over consumption, you know, that we should move back to the farms and factories. People talk about the issue of security in Nigeria and that P2B lacks the requisite experience as a civilian to tackle security challenges in Nigeria. And given what we're witnessing with the security situation, the banditry, the terrorism, talk about Lakroma, talk about ISIS, you talk about Boko Haram.
Tinubu who has the experience, what is happening in Nigeria as far as security concerned? What is happening to security situation in Nigeria with his experience? Is it not worse than what is going on? Has he done anything to improve the situation with his own experience? Tinubu, has he done anything to improve the situation? He hasn't done much. It's even worse. It's even worse. That's why America is not even trusting him. That's why the Tinubu is there. America used was able to start fighting the security situation, and they could not do anything.
No, we were told that they are in collaboration with the government of the United States.
They have no option. They couldn't have done anything. America gave them sanction. If they don't do that, this is what is going to happen. Even if you see Israel coming out on its own, they are threatening security situation in Nigeria. So it's not even America fighting alone. That's why Israel is also fighting. So it's going to be worse. And they will make sure that those things that happened, that situation that happened in the south, clean of Christians, banditry, other things will not continue
But don't you think that will work against people become 2027, being a Christian Southern?
When they have come out to say we don't want this thing, it even got to it was that man Obama that destroyed this man's good luck Jonathan. If Obama hadn't come to intervene, Jonathan would have won. America is now have opened their eyes. So they will not go to allow the North Portal.
Let's look at this other issue here. Talk about P2B's core supporters or his allies. You speak about the governor of Abia State, Oti, who has come publicly to say that he's not leaving the Labour Party, and everyone expected that by the time P2B moves, that Alex Oti will join him. And likewise, we'll talk about Dati Baba Ahmed, who didn't make any formal declaration with his former boss.
Oti is wiser. He knows what he's doing. He is there in spirit, but he's being careful. Because
being careful of what?
Of Tinubu. He's being careful. That's why he says, I am not joining. I will not join APC. So he's being careful. He's a first-time runner. First-time runner.
So in
just like Anambra man, Soludo, he was also careful.
He was also careful. But in case of Alex Oti and Dati Baba Ahmed, whom you say are still of the Labour Party, now we're talking about a Labour Party in crisis. If they are there, why would P2B leave? If there's a possibility to run in Labour Party, because if Alex Oti remains in Labour Party, then the same fate would befall him, being that like we did here, or you're projecting, the Labour Party has become a vehicle without an engine going forward.
Yes.
So what are his chances?
For Alex Oti?
Yes.
Alex is holding his state firmly.
That means he can't run in 2027.
Why?
Why? Under which platform?
Other Labour Party.
So if he can run under Labour Party, why didn't P2B wait behind the Labour Party to run under Labour Party?
It should not. P2B has nothing to do with P2B's declaration. Has nothing to do with Alex Oti. Alex is minding his own state, but he is there with P2B in spirit.
No, but part of the issues raised is that Labour Party has a leadership crisis, which in turn may affect any person, emerging as a candidate in 2027, and it's against that background that P2B left.
Yes.
Now, would the same fate not be meted out to an Alex Oti?
Alex Oti is his own problem. Has his own problem. He was with Nanabi Usman. He's in Nanabi Usman camp. He's not with the main Abure camp. So he knows what he's doing. Let's watch and see what is going to happen. Let us not be so much in a hurry.
No, but the projection here is that if Alex Oti cannot mobilize for P2B,
he says he's looking to mobilize P2B.
But
he's talking of his own party.
They are not in different parties. They are not in different political parties, don't.
Before he went to Labour Party, before he went to ADC, he consulted with Alex Oti. He consulted all the governors of Southeast.
All the governors of Southeast?
Yes, he did a consultation with them. And they said that if you can move to ADC.
He can move to ADC?
Yes.
But those governors you talk of the APs, they are of the ruling party.
They are of the ruling party.
So perhaps that means they are clearing Obi from the way.
They are being careful. They are being careful. Because if it is if, for instance, they are with Tinubu today, if, for instance, entire Southeast move with P2B to APC or to the ADC, do you think it would affect their chances, the governors of Southeast?
Okay. But let's go back into the issue of party politics. ADC will go into primaries. That's what we have been told. And Nigeria being what it is, we know how primaries are played in Nigeria. And P2B has come out on several occasions to say he is not one to pay delegates. So how do you see him emerging from such primaries in ADC?
Did he pay delegates when he won 6 million votes? Did he play
that's the general election. We're not talking about the ADC that have the likes of Atiku Abubakar that has been projected. Perhaps Kwankwaso may join. We'll have Erufai. We'll have Rotimi Amechi, who himself is another gladiator. We'll have Tambua again. So there are a whole lot of politicians, seasoned politicians in the ADC, and who are interested in this same ticket. So it may not be like the Labour Party where P2B, you know, had an open field. Yes. So we're seeing a contest as regards primaries before we now start talking about the 6 million votes.
Supposing there are going to be a consensus, there will be a consensus in ADC.
Do you see a consensus in ADC?
It's possible. It's possible. If David Mark, who is chairman of ADC, if there are some of them consider that this man is more viable, there's possibility of having a consensus candidate.
You know why I ask this question is that ADC has come out to say that part of the objective is to correct the anomalies in other political parties, to see that ADC doesn't go the way of these other political parties. Speak of PDP. Yes.
What are you saying? Are you saying that there's no possibility of they're coming together to build a formidable front? They say, this man, you are our leader. As I'm taking off article as our leader, you can now play a fatherly role. Let this man who is more viable take up the gauntlet. Let him fight. Let him do this thing. You tried. We see you as the leader of our party, but let this man play. Take the mantle of leadership. It's not possible for it. That is, there's a possibility of consensus candidate emerging.
Anyway, in politics they say everything and anything is possible.
Yes.
But we are speaking to the facts on ground, what we are being told by the party. But those, for want of time, I want to ask your personal view, projection of Obi's candidacy since his declaration and the impact you think that will generate.
I say it is too early to project that projection. It's too early. Somebody declared 31st March, 31st December, and just less than 10 days. And let us see what is going to happen. But don't you see that a lot of people are running, coming around to say this man is a viable candidate. People are projecting that. The man in Lagos says JB now has left PDP and now joined ADC, the former governorship candidate of Labour Party in Lagos.
Okay,
they've all now joining ADC.
So, in essence, you're seeing people making more inroad in 2026, 2027 than before?
If we had done that in 2023 and succeeded, it's going to be more of realignment in 2026. It's going to succeed more. It's going to have more inroads into the political parties.
But, Don, before I let you go, given the off-cycle elections, speak of that of Anambra State, for example, P2B's influence and presence need little.
Because he did not declare that time. He was not supporting anybody. He just came in as a voter. He did not say vote for this person. Don't vote for this person. Did he do that?
Okay. So, in essence, we're looking at ADC as a vibrant opposition with the declaration of P2B.
So far, PDP is dead, Labour is dead, every other political party is dead. The only one that are fearing now is ADC, P2B's declaration.
So, finally, on a final note, do you see the obedient movement, which is the core base of P2B, as still being intact and ready to roar in 2026 going into 2027 election?
You see, obedient movement, I think they are doing something, but it's not everybody is a member of obedience. Not everybody is an obedient movement. Obedient movement is just a section of a branch of this support group. There are a lot of good support groups. There were other support groups are running with AGC.
All right. And that is it for today on The Insight. We'll be speaking with Dr. Don Eze, who is a veteran journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thank you for coming today on The Insight.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. And to you, our viewers, remember that on The Insight, your views matter. Let us know what you think. Join us with the hashtag The Insight, all at Aneke TV on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Till we come your way next time, I still remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye.
The eagles stand as a majestic symbol of strength, clarity, and vision. Its ability to soar above storms signifies resilience, while its shaped sight represents focus. This is why many nations, including Nigeria, use the eagle as an emblem of nation pride. Eagles do not fear challenges, they embrace them. They fly higher when the winds become strong, rising above obstacles rather than avoiding them. This teaches us that problems are not barriers, but stepping stones for those who dare. To live like an eagle is to stay focused, courageous, and disciplined. It is to see opportunities where others see only difficulties. The sky is not your limit, it is your launch pad.
Abia State, nicknamed God's Own State, was created on August 27, 1991. From the old Imo State by the military administration of General Ibrahim Babangida. Its name, Abia, is an acronym for Aba, Bende, Isikwato, and Afiuku Umahia, the four major areas that initially comprised the state. The state lies in Nigeria's southeast and is inhabited predominantly by the Igbo ethnic group, who are known for their enterprise, hospitality, and vibrant cultural practices. Before state creation, the region was part of the Eastern region and played notable roles in Nigeria's pre- and post-independence history. One landmark event was Aba Women's Riot of 1929, a mass protest by women against colonial taxation, which began in the Aba area and influenced policy changes across Nigeria. Abia State is naturally endowed with fertile soil for agriculture and solid mineral resources such as limestone, kaolin, and laterite. Oil and gas are also found in some parts of the state, making it one of Nigeria's oil-producing areas. Economically, Aba is a powerhouse of trade and manufacturing, especially in textiles, leather works, and metal fabrication, earning it the nickname Japan of Africa. Abia State's cuisine reflects Igbo culinary traditions with popular dishes including achi and oha soup. It is a thickened soup made from oha leaves and achi seeds. Okazi soup. It is rich with okazi leaves and cocoyam paste. Abacha, African salad, made from cassava flakes, palm oil, and local spices. Ofe nsala, white soup, a light soup often cooked with fresh fish, beef, or chicken. Palm wine, a traditional beverage tapped fresh from raffia or oil palm trees. Abia State has different notable attractions, and they include National War Museum Umuahia, housing relics and weapons from the Nigerian Civil War. Akwete Weaving Village, famous for its centuries-old traditional cloth weaving. Azumiri Blue River. This is known for its clear blue waters and scenic beauty. Amakama Wooden Cave, a natural hollow in a giant tree with cultural significance. Long Juju of Arochukwu, an ancient shrine and historic slave trade route site. Abia with fresh fish, beef or chicken. Palm wine, a traditional beverage tapped fresh from raffia or oil palm trees. Abia State has different notable attractions, and they include National War Museum Umuahia, housing relics and weapons from the Nigerian Civil War. Akwete Weaving Village, famous for its centuries-old traditional cloth weaving. Azumiri Blue River. This is known for its clear blue waters and scenic beauty. Amakama Wooden Cave, a natural hollow in a giant tree with cultural significance. Long Juju of Arochukwu, an ancient shrine and historic slave trade route site. Abia State celebrates various cultural festivals such as New Yam Festival, Iriji, marking the start of the harvest season. Ekpe Festival, a masquerade and dance tradition in Arochukwu and other areas. Akwete Festival, celebrating the art and heritage of Akwete weaving. Aba Carnival, this carnival showcases dance, music and colorful parades. Abia State is known for its entrepreneurship and Aba-made goods like shoes, bags, clothes and mechanical fabrications. It is also known for agriculture, especially cassava, yam, oil palm and cocoa, cultural craftsmanship like Akwete cloth, pottery and wood carving, and their historic significance especially in women's rights activism. 1929 Aba Women's Riot.
Country on Aneke TV. I'm Deborah Wakaba. Now moving over to the headlines. The presidency has dismissed claims that a photograph of President Bola Tinubu with Rwandan President Paul Kagame was AI generated, affirming the image's authenticity. The federal government has stated that tax policies are designed to ensure that low-income citizens gain the greatest benefit from government revenue. Bauchi State Government announced a special tourism discount aimed at civil servants and